A Christmas treat today at Children's National Hospital in D.C. Dr. Jill Biden read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" to the kids, and then the president offered an optimistic message to the children and their families.
Every single year, there's more and more cures coming. Every single solitary year. So as my father would say, keep the faith. We're going to beat all this. I promise you.
The First Ladies have visited the Children's National Hospital before Christmas for more than 70 years. This week, Toyota announced it's recalling over 1 million cars because of an airbag sensor problem, and Honda over 2 million for fuel pump failures. Now, Tesla's announcing a recall.
Tesla's recall includes over 120,000 2021 to 2023 Model S and Model X vehicles because the doors may unlatch and open during a crash. According to government documents, the software in the vehicle sends commands that do not comply with safety standards and can allow doors to unlatch and open in a crash. Tesla is releasing an over-the-air software update to fix the issue. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Incredible teamwork saved a teenager who went into cardiac arrest during a basketball game in Rochester, New York on Wednesday, jumping into action using an automated defibrillator to begin reviving the 15-year-old, the school gym's safety officer, and the athletic trainer for the school. The student is now recovering at a hospital. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
KBNU News Time is 4:04. I'm Bill Walter with this news update. Interim Cache County Attorney Dane Murray is about to join NCIS. Not the TV show, but in real life. After receiving an offer to become a special agent with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service, Murray tendered a letter of resignation from his duties as county attorney and chief prosecutor. Murray has worked at the Cache County Attorney's Office since May 2015. During his time, he has served as a deputy county attorney, chief prosecutor, and since November 2022 as interim county attorney. In his letter of resignation, Murray observed that he stepped into the role of county attorney under less than ideal circumstances after former county attorney John Luthi accepted an appointment to the state bench. Murray said he was extremely proud of the improvements made to the county attorney office over the year, but has realized that politics is not the future that he and his wife want for their family. Starting in January, Murray will train at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center at Glencoe, Georgia. On completion of that training, he will enter on duty aboard the NCIS field office in Hawaii. Murray has recommended that the Cache County Council appoint Chief Civil Deputy Attorney Taylor Sorensen as his replacement as interim county attorney until that post is permanently filled by the general election in November 2024. KBNU News Time is 4:06. KBNU weather for tonight. Looking at mostly cloudy skies, a 40% chance of drizzle and snow after midnight, low in the mid-20s. Cloudy with light freezing drizzle and snow in the morning, partly cloudy by afternoon. Little or no accumulation, high temperature in the mid-30s. Slight chance of snow Saturday night. And then on Sunday, partly cloudy, then clearing, high around 30. Right now we have 38 degrees at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Maple Creek Ranch. Build your dream home on some of the most beautiful lots in Cache Valley. 2.5 acre lots, miles of wilderness, babbling brooks, and more just east of Franklin, Idaho. All roads are now paved. Learn more at maplecreekranch.net. KBNU News Time is 4:07. The identity of the 40-year-old woman killed in an auto pedestrian crash on Highway 89 has been released. Sergeant Cameron Roden with the Utah Highway Patrol said Jennifer Thompson of Layton suffered fatal injuries during the incident. The crash happened at about 8:50 p.m. on December 19th, just south of South Weber Drive, where the woman was reportedly on foot in the southbound lanes near milepost 405. Thompson was struck by a van before being hit by a second vehicle. The reason for Thompson being out on the highway alone at night remained under investigation. It was not clear if authorities were investigating impairment as a possible factor, and information was not provided on whether UHP found any abandoned vehicles in the vicinity. And Bluebird Candy is increasing its collection of large ornaments made from candy displayed in downtown Logan windows. The large glass windows where people can see the chocolates being made before their eyes at Bluebird Candy have 3 commissioned new large ornaments to draw people's attention. Justin Hamilton, the candy company's owner, started the tradition of hanging oversized ornaments made from candy a few years ago, and it's grown over the years to over a dozen pieces. The large candy displays are also in the windows of Bluebird Restaurant and Cache Valley Bank, located at Center and Main, Jump the Moon Art Studio at 48 North, 100 West in Logan, and also there's one hanging in its has one hanging in its window, as well as one in the window of the lobby at the Utah Theater on Center Street. The candy ornaments are intended to bring people downtown, like the candy displays in Salt Lake City's Macy's windows. KBNU News Time is 4:09. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
Your station for the Aggies. News Talk KVNU, 102 FM, 610 AM. And on Alexa, Google, online, or the KVNU mobile app.
Is shopping for medical supplies online leaving you feeling intimidated and overwhelmed? Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I want to share a real customer story with you.
The moment I walked into Alpine, I felt cared for. They pulled me into a private room, and the Alpine professional happily set up my CPAP machine, explaining everything I needed to know. The service didn't stop there. After I went home, Alpine called me a week later just to check on me. These guys really are the experts. Before Alpine, I was so stressed trying to navigate what I needed online by myself, but all the stress went away when I went to their store. They really do deserve 5 stars.
We know when you walk through our doors, you deserve to be cared for. Stop by any of our 11 locations and discover the Alpine Home Medical difference. When you need assistance, we're here for you.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
AlpineHomeMedical.com.
Maple Creek Ranch is excited to announce they just finished the asphalt on all the roads. So come drive the smooth roads and see what this piece of paradise is all about, which is now in its 4th and final phase of development. If you've always dreamed of living in the mountains, Maple Creek Ranch is for you. Surrounded by miles of wilderness, babbling brooks, horse riding, and hiking trails, with 2.5-acre lots to build your dream home. Learn more at maplecreekranch.net or hop in the car and come see it for yourself, just east of Franklin, Idaho.
It's Cody from Industrial Tool and Supply. Usually, I'm here talking about our Makita deals, but in the holiday rush, I often forget to express my gratitude to you. Thanks for backing me, my team, and our local business for 35 years. As a second-generation owner, your support means the world to me. Thanks for letting us assist you, your family, and your business with Makita products and more. We appreciate your trust in us to get the job done. From the bottom of our hearts, Industrial Tool and Supply and Makita extend a heartfelt thank you.
You might ask yourself, when is the best time to start saving for retirement? The answer is simple. It's today. An Edward Jones financial advisor is here to help. They will work with you to build a plan for your ideal retirement by identifying your unique goals and help keep you on track to achieve them. The sooner you get started, the better. Call one of the 7 Edward Jones locations in Cache Valley to schedule an appointment today. Making sense of investing. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
Christmas is almost here. Are you still looking for that perfect gift? If so, S.E. Needham Jewelers is the place for you. We have fine jewelry pieces starting at $29, sparkling diamond earrings starting at $149, diamond bands made of 14-karat gold at $249 with financing available. For gift ideas, take a look at our extensive watch and gift selection, or make it simple and stop in for a gift card in any valuation. There is still time to shop for the people and occasions that matter most. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block at the sign of the clock.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello. Stacy, my name is Will Theoridu. I understand that you're a delivery nurse?
Yeah, I am.
Well, this individual said that for years you have been willing to work others' shifts when they're sick, that you're a really kind person, and that you would do anything for anybody. And so we just want to call and recognize you with a $40 gift card to Firehouse Subs.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Thank you very much.
The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs on News Talk KVNU. For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight
with Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 a.m. and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. Friday, December 22nd. Our last show before the big holiday and before we spend much of next week recapping the year. Tradition here at the radio group, the news team and myself, others, invited to list our own top stories of the year from northern Utah, from Cache Valley.
Oh, yeah, I've got to do that, eh?
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough. I know my top tweet of the year. That was one that I actually recorded way back in May and thought nothing's going to top this, and nothing did. But I don't... top story of the year, that's always a tough one for me because...
it's hard to remember. Yeah, what happened in January or February last? This year,
especially in politics, it's the news is so just kind of hammered into your head every day. It's you'll have multiple days a week where there's at least one story that's like, really, and it has this tendency to make me. Think something was years ago when it was just August. So, yeah, I'm going to have to actually sit down over the weekend and think this through. But listeners, if you have a top story, I'd love to hear it. 753-5868 if you'd like to chime in here on the first hour of the show. Second hour, For the People movie show. Andy Morgan will be with us. We're going to break our year-end and look ahead at 2024 into two shows, today and next Friday. And there is a lot to recap, of course. Still, the box office winner for the year is Barbie. That is still the film that made the most money and got the most viral play, really. Bill and I were talking about this. It makes sense in a way. It was very funny. It was very well done. It was a good movie. It was refreshing. It was also sandwiched in a bunch of really serious stuff. But one of the most fascinating things I think about the popularity of Barbie is I think it was in part driven by Oppenheimer, because you had Barbie and Oppenheimer opening on the same weekend. You could not have two more diametrically opposed theme-wise movies than Barbie and Oppenheimer. And
so did Saturday Night Live do a skit?
Yeah, they did. That's where I believe that's where
features of it.
I believe that's where Barbenheimer actually started. Was Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks before the opening of both films? There was a skit in which Barbenheimer was a thing, and it was kind of funny. It was really funny, and then it just kind of caught on social media and became a viral moment. But that was a fascinating part of the popularity of Barbie for me. It was I'm always fascinated by this. You can't political campaigns, nonprofits, businesses, celebrities. They try to figure out the formula, constantly trying to figure out the formula for making something go viral. And these tech gurus and advisors and consultants will claim, that they've landed the answer. They're never right because you can't manufacture it. In fact, trying to manufacture it, it has the odds of your attempt going viral in a negative way are higher than you succeeding at making it go viral if you try to manufacture it. Because if the public figures out that you're trying to fake it, that can go viral itself because it's kind of funny when companies have tried to do that before. But it's fascinating to me what ends up going viral on social media and how viral it goes because it's so random and because it's unpredictable. And things like Barbenheimer that are hilarious could just as easily have been a kind of a one-day, everybody kind of having a good time and laughing about it on Instagram or Twitter. You see a lot of use of certain hashtags, and then it just bleeds out by the end of the day, and you move on. And that wouldn't have seemed unusual because there is, that happens to some extent every day on one or two of the platforms. But it didn't. It was a weeks-long thing. It was hilarious, and then it ended up sort of driving Barbie even higher in the public spotlight, and I think that drove a lot of people to go see it as well. And it didn't hurt that Barbie was getting great reviews, deservedly. It was really well done for a kind of a throwaway comedy, really, with a few messages worth pondering and thinking about afterwards, but not really ham-handed or heavy-handed. It just that was, to me, one of the top stories of the year because it. I don't think those behind the film even expected to be the top grossing film of the year. And it's fascinating to me when that kind of thing happens. But most people would say, really? That's the top story of the year for you? But
why not?
That's definitely a story that is very noteworthy for me. And then the second big story of the year for me was just a few days ago, with last week, Attorney General Sean Reyes announcing he wasn't going to run for re-election. That was a top story for me because it still doesn't make sense. He's caught up in this Tim Ballard scandal, and he unfortunately played a big role in promoting Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad, all of which Tim himself and Operation Underground Railroad unfortunately now appear to have been a gigantic decade-long scam with even worse mixed in. Sexual misconduct. Tim Ballard increasingly, as the stories came out and continue to come out, looking like a predator who was the face and name and celebrity behind a group that existed to fight predators. And that, of course, it drives that home. But the biggest surprise to me, Sean Reyes, despite this being attached to this, despite the fact that there are probably more stories yet to come out that don't make him look great, despite the fact that he has had several face plants over the years as Attorney General, the banjo thing where he meets some tech bro at a party in Park City, and tech bro sells him on this idea of collecting everyone's social media and building this giant crime predicting software. And Attorney General Reyes single-handedly gets a few incurious lawmakers to earmark $20 million for it. And then somebody, the Salt Lake Tribune, I think, started asking, okay, what's this $20 million for? And no one could answer, including the lawmakers who requested the line item earmark. They just knew it was for the Attorney General's office, and it was listed as crime-fighting measures. That's pretty vague, and so understandably that got a lot of attention. Eventually the news came out what this was all about, and everyone understandably lost it. The $20 million was returned, not to taxpayers, unfortunately, but to legislative coffers and spent, hopefully, more smartly elsewhere. But either way, it ended up reflecting. It was basically a story that showed an attorney general practicing very poor judgment. And I bring this up not to hammer on Attorney General Reyes. I'm saying he survived all of this. He'd been reelected already after some of these stories, not about Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad. That was exclusive to this year. That story first broke in May, and then just got worse and worse throughout the summer, even with the popularity, or well, some would argue faux popularity of Sound of Freedom, the movie of Tim Ballard's origin story that Tim Ballard made or played a hand in making himself. Sean Reyes would have been reelected. He's not deciding not to run for reelection because the odds of success are low. And that was a surprise to me. And one of two things is behind that. Either there's more to the story about to come out and he knows and just wants to be out of office when it does, which is definitely a possibility. Or he literally just thought, you know what, I'm done with this. Because I've had, members of his staff have told me he's always had a hard time with the media. He doesn't trust the media, that he was never, and you can see this through his own behavior and some of his own comments even here on our show. Some people end up in a spotlight politically, and it's just not really ever for them. It's something that always makes them uncomfortable. And that's my personal read of Sean Reyes, having met the guy a few times, that he's not a person that enjoys that particular spotlight. Enjoys the spotlight, that's obvious. He's put himself in it in different ways on purpose, but it doesn't really enjoy the scrutiny and the hoops you have to jump through on a regular basis to stay popular as an elected official. But for me, again, that was probably one of the bigger stories of the year, just because it was such a surprise. And then what it means as far as upending the apple cart in Utah is surprising as well, because Sean Reyes has been a person that always had aspirations and made that clear. He wanted an appointment in the Trump administration so bad that it was almost embarrassing at times to watch him. And he had very well-moneyed backers within the Utah Republican Party circles urging him to run for Senate, for governor, all kinds of things. And that's what I would have predicted, that he was going to run for higher office one day. I wouldn't predict whether he'd win or not after this Tim Ballard business, but that was my prediction. And then he just said, "No, I'm done. I'm going back to the public sector, I assume, as an attorney, and or maybe he'll retire early. Maybe he's put enough aside. I don't know, but he's done with politics," he said, in elected office. And to me, that was one of the bigger stories of the year, because the ramifications of that are pretty huge. And we'll see how that race plays out next year. That race is also going to change the way all the other races play out here in Utah. In fact, that race was probably the end of challengers to Governor Cox, even though it seems unrelated, because you'll have that Attorney General's race taking up some air in the room, and it's going to be a very serious race. And so far, the only challenger to Governor Cox has been a very unserious candidate, at least on social media. And the media and the big-name donors see that. It's not just kids on social media. And, so, again, to me, that was one of the bigger stories of the year, and that came just last week. So, in politics, at least. Outside of that, I've got a long list of choices. I'm going to work on my biggest stories of the year over the weekend. The story will be up towards the end of next week at Cache Valley Daily, both looking at it from the point of view of just straight-up data, the traffic behind our stories here at CacheValleyDaily.com and the KVNU newsroom, and how many things got shared and clicked on, but also our own sort of editorial takes on the biggest stories of the year. And you're welcome to add your own. I'd love to hear what our listeners think are the biggest stories of the year. 753-5868. We'll be back right after this.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Have you been suffering and you can't find any answers?
I actually suffer from depression and anxiety. I also have had severe IBS problems. I actually had gone into a different doctor of mine because I thought maybe I was starting to go through menopause and had problems sleeping, and I wasn't resting well, and just everything felt wrong.
Red River Health and Wellness can help.
I am now back at work. It's easy. I get through things effortlessly at work, and it's been a life-changing for me. I'm sleeping better at night. I have full energy all day. I don't have those slumps where I need a nap. It's been amazing. It's been a good journey for me.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively, and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Merry Christmas from our family to yours.
Tis the season at Murdoch Volkswagen.
Unwrap incredible savings during the most wonderful buy of the year.
But you have to hurry.
These deals are going faster than Santa's reindeer.
Receive the gift of 4.9% for 6 years on the Atlas or Atlas Cross Sport, or 3.9% for 6 years on the 2023 Taos, Tiguan, or ID4.
When you walk through our doors, you feel like family.
At Murdoch Volkswagen in Logan or online at murdochbw.com.
Call 866-628-3065 to see dealer for complete details. Offer expires 1/2/24.
Need some last-minute gift ideas? Pick up a copy of the Best of Northern Utah magazine. There you'll find all the businesses in our community who were voted the very best in their category. Best place to buy a gift, boutique stores, jewelry, power tools, clothing, dining, and more. There's something for everyone on your list. Go to bestofnorthernutah.com for magazine pickup locations. And please, support local business first this holiday season.
Not the biggest story of the year, but the story I try to make big on the show every year, and this year I missed it by an entire day. But yesterday, I've been talking about it for weeks, Bill, but yesterday, the shortest day of the year.
Yeah, it's a big deal every year.
Yeah, and it's come
and
and gone.
Tonight it looks a little lighter than it did yesterday at this time.
That's right.
by a second or so.
Yeah, it's so to give you some perspective on this, on the winter solstice, the length of the day in Los Angeles, California, is 9 hours and 55 minutes, and by February 1st, they're up to 10 hours and 45 minutes, so almost a full hour in just a couple of months. But
yeah, that's dramatic.
Yeah, it's
the farther north you are.
I'm excited to see it, and the math I don't remember exactly, but I think it's like 33 seconds a day or something like that. I'll have to double check that for the exact one, but it's good to have that day over. Let's put it that way. It's the shortest day of the year, and things are now getting longer, which means we're on the right side of that hill, headed down towards my favorite time of the year, those long days when it's light until nearly 10 o'clock in mid-June, end of June. I love it. So, again, asking listeners to weigh in. What do you think were the biggest stories of the year here in Cache Valley, throughout northern Utah, Utah at large, if you choose? 753-5868. We'll be back after these headlines with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:31, and the news is brought to you by U&I Furniture. Some American senior citizens have a new companion to help them combat loneliness, a robot. EliQ is a tabletop device that uses artificial intelligence to conduct human-like conversations with its owners. Its creators have designed the device for senior citizens who live alone. Created by an Israeli company, EliQ is being distributed throughout New York and in some Florida, Michigan, Nevada, and Washington counties. Users say the robot is a friendly and intelligent companion. However, that worries Brigham Young University psychology professor Julianne Holt-Lundstad, who studies the detrimental effects loneliness has on health and mortality. Although a device like EliQ might have short-term benefits, it could make people less likely to seek human contact. Like hunger makes people seek food and thirst makes them seek water. She said that unpleasant feelings of loneliness should motivate us to reconnect socially. Social service workers distributing LEQ agree that human interaction is best, but not always available for seniors. The first meeting between Utah State and Georgia State comes after a rocky season for both teams. For a time, Georgia State looked to be among the elite in the Sun Belt Conference with a 6-1 start, only to lose its final 5 games to finish at 500. Utah State was 3-5 at one point, but won 3 of its last 4 games to reach bowl eligibility, 2 of those in overtime. Utah State is in a bowl game for the 11th time in 13 seasons and its 5th trip all time to the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. And we'll have the game for you Saturday at 1:30 p.m. on KBNU. And it all begins with Aggie Game Day with longtime voice of the Aggies, Al Lewis, beginning at 11:30 a.m. Al returns after the game for Aggie Call. The Aggie men's basketball team hosts East Tennessee State for the final non-conference game of the season, 7 o'clock tonight in the Smith Spectrum. Al will be on with Aggie Game Day straight up 6 o'clock tonight here on KBNU. News time is 5:34.
Thank you. UNI Furniture wants to say thank you to all of their friends and customers. UNI Furniture is grateful to be a family business, now in their 5th generation. For over 90 years, they've always offered a good product at a good price. And that's why they say you'll always find a better buy at UNI. Stop by and see them this holiday season with lots of store-wide specials and great bargains. Purchase any sofa or sectional, and UNI says thank you with $100 off on any chair to go with it. UNI Furniture in downtown Logan.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. The big holiday getaway is on, and so far so good for travelers, even those who are flying.
It's a real exciting time, but you have to be prepared for crowded airports.
AAA spokesman Doug Shroop at LAX. It isn't just the holiday season, it's cold and flu season. ABC medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel with advice on how to stay healthy.
Hand washing is key. Covering your mouth if you're coughing or sneezing.
Making sure you're fully vaccinated also helps. The Supreme Court rejected special counsel Jack Smith's request to fast-track a ruling on whether former President Trump can be prosecuted for his actions to overturn the 2020 election. The justices say an appeals court must hear it first. The U.S. and Russia abstained as the UN Security Council passed a resolution calling for a pause in the Israeli-Hamas war to get aid into Gaza. A Commerce Department report, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, shows prices fell again last month. This is ABC News.
KBNU weather for tonight, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies is our forecast. A 40% chance of drizzle and snow after midnight. Low in the mid-20s. Cloudy with light freezing drizzle and snow in the morning. Partly cloudy by afternoon. High in the mid-30s. Partly cloudy, then clearing on Sunday. High right around 30 degrees. Right now it's 37 at KBNU. Turn life up. Schedule a free hearing evaluation with Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. Go to cachehearing.com. You can always get more news at cachevalleydaily.com. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
Good afternoon. This is Raydell Gibbons bringing you the daily financial markets report on behalf of financial advisor Mike Arnold and Edward Jones. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ finished higher after the Fed's preferred measure of inflation came in cooler than expected, supporting the policy pivot that markets have been anchoring on. Today, the U.S. equities closed higher. The Dow Jones closed down 18 points at 37,386. The NASDAQ closed up 29 points at 14,993. And the S&P 500 closed up 8 points at 4,755. In the bond market, the 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 3.9% higher. For stocks of local interest, Autoliv closed up 91 cents at 109.40. Chevron's up 34 cents at 151.05. Dominion Energy's up 5 cents at 46.80. Home Depot's down 38 cents at 348.59. Kroger's up 12 cents at 45.14. Lowe's is down 55 cents at $223. McDonald's is up 31 cents at $291.70. Microsoft's up $1.04 at $374.58. Nucor's up $1.44 at $178.06. Philip Morris is up 11 cents at $92.94. And Walmart stores closed up $1.85 at $156.65. Today in the commodity market, the price of crude oil was down 34 cents at $73.55 per barrel. And the price of gold was up at $13.40 to $2,064.70. This has been today's financial market report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, a member of the SIPC, and financial advisor Mike Arnold, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice, located at 135 North Main, Suite 102 in downtown Logan. If you'd like additional information, please contact our branch office at area code 435-753-2915. Daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
You can't expect a policeman to unclog your drain. You shouldn't ask a teacher to change your oil. And you wouldn't want a fireman to clean your teeth. So why would we let politicians take over our internet service? That's just not what they do. Experience proves government-run networks mean waste, corruption, and failure. One example, called Utopia, promised to provide internet service in 16 cities within a few years. But over 20 years and hundreds of millions of dollars later, a better name would be dystopia. They say it's almost complete. We say stop wasting our money. Go to nogovinternet.com and tell lawmakers enough is enough. Local tax dollars are precious, and public employees have plenty to do already. Don't let politicians mess with our internet. Paid for by nogovinternet.com, a project of Domestic Policy Caucus.
Are you a business owner looking for affordable workers' comp coverage? This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. As an independent auto owners insurance agency, we work with top-notch carriers to find the best policy for your unique needs. With our experienced agents, you can rest assured that you're getting the best coverage and the best price. Call our office today for a free quote. Quality First Insurance, 752-0101. For more information, go to q1ins.com.
How often should you change the filter on your furnace? A lot of people are surprised when they find out that most filters are only good for 60 to 90 days. Some cheaper filters won't even last that long. If you buy a good quality filter, you should still have it checked or replaced every year. Doing this will make sure your furnace runs more efficiently and keep the air that you breathe cleaner. For a free consultation, call the Duct Hunter, 770-4813.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. I found it. I'm stuck on this, so I found the Farmer's Almanac. I knew they had one, and it's fascinating. Their breakdown of how much longer each day gets from here until the longest day of the year, which is going to be the summer solstice, of course. It always is. So yesterday we passed the shortest day of the year. And now each day gets longer. But the reason it's fascinating on this, I said that each day gets longer by, I think it's like 33, 34 seconds or something like that. This is why I wanted to find this. That's at first. That's the so, for example, the Farmer's Almanac, by the way, has a daylight tool. You can actually go in and play with this. It's a sunrise sunset calculator, but it actually goes through and will show you how long the days will be on any given date you pick. So, for example,
and it takes into account our mountains, because the sun may rise, but we don't We don't see it here until later.
And when you see, that's actually...
And the same for sunset as well, especially this time of year.
It's actually a good thing to bring up because, for example, evening news, your 10 o'clock news, they'll tell you sunrise, sunset times. That's not when you'll see the sun here in Cache Valley. That's when the general regional sunrise happens.
So if everything was flat.
Yeah, if everything was flat, basically. So when they say sunrise is at 7:36 a.m., we might not see the sun here in Cache Valley at that time. And so, yeah, it's different depending on your region and if you're surrounded by mountains and if you're... but they have a way of calculating almost like a moving line across the country. And it's predictable, but it's not to the second predictable because of, well, this is what's interesting. So starting today, yesterday was the shortest day of the year. So starting today, in the week leading up to Christmas, Chicago, let's look at Chicago, middle of the country roughly. So in Chicago, today, have been at this point in Chicago? Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if would Chicago be past sunset right now? I'm thinking so.
Well, it's 5:43.
Yeah. So they're past their sunset. So,
yeah. And they're pretty far north, too.
Yeah. So past tense. In Chicago today, there were 9 hours and 11 minutes of daylight. And it's been pretty much that way all week, give or take 30 seconds as they built up to today. And by next Friday, there will be 9 hours and 15 minutes of daylight in Chicago. So at first, it builds up slowly, seconds a day. But then and this all has to do with the Earth's axis. When we say the Earth is a globe, it is, but it's also, of course, not rotating perfectly, and the rotation itself is not exactly the same each and every year, and a bunch of different factors go into this. But what that means is that the daylight increases are not consistent each day. So right now, over the next week, from today to next Friday, we'll add 30 seconds-ish each day. But then that starts to speed up. By mid-January, we're adding about 2 minutes of daylight a day. By the end of February, we're adding 3 minutes of daylight a day. In fact, on the 20th of February, a day length is 10 hours and 53 minutes. And on the 21st, it's 10 hours and 56 minutes. So on the 20th of February this year, there will be exactly 3 more minutes of daylight added that single day. And then it stays roughly in the minutes of daylight added each day until May, which is before the summer solstice, the shortest day of the year. But in May, the increase per day drops down. You're still increasing. Each day is still getting longer in May, but it drops from the 3 minutes of February, March, and April to the 2 minutes gained per day. And then by the time we get to that summer solstice, the increase in the week before the summer solstice, by the way, has slowed back down to throughout the end of May and 1st of June. It's slowed back down to a minute a day, and then, of course, back down to seconds a day by the summer solstice. And then it will peak at this year 15 hours and 16 minutes of daylight on the summer solstice in June. So I'm not sure anyone woke up today thinking I need to know this. But
if somebody asks you, now you know.
That's right. Now you know. I meant to do this yesterday on the show, and I spaced it. We had so much going on the show. I completely spaced that it was the summer solstice, winter solstice, and that things are getting longer now starting
Things
today.
are looking up.
Yeah. So I love this. I hate that there is a thing like a shortest day of the year that's that short, but I am not going to complain that we're now on the downhill side of that slog, and these are actually getting longer. So there you have it. If you want to see this again, Farmer's Almanac has this tool they call the Sunlight tool, but it's a calculator. And again, what's interesting about it is it shows you how inconsistent the increases and decreases on the lead up to the winter solstice are each day. It's not consistent. It has a tendency to speed up from seconds to minutes to 3 minutes is a day is the longest or the largest amount of time that's added each day. And that happens for a few months, a couple of months, and then it starts to drop back down to 2 minutes, then 1 minute. And in the week before the summer solstice, we're back down to adding only 30 seconds or so a day. So also, this tool will also calculate for you where the sun will rise in your horizon, depending on your location, because that's also different. It is in different places, different days of the week. In fact, if you saw where the sun rose, now just a little bit different, and I believe you have to have special measuring tools to actually note it. But the sun rose in a different place on yesterday than it will on Saturday. But then next Tuesday, it rises in the same place it rose on Thursday, not where it rose on Saturday. It's weird stuff. But I remember all this from a physics class, too. And let me tell you, this is interesting. This is fun trivia. But you want to instantly find this stuff not fun? Take a physics class when they say, all right, everyone, we're now going to talk about all of this from the perspective of complicated math. Get your pencils out. Ruined it for me completely. 753 if you'd like to weigh in. Again, asking listeners if they'd like to offer up their opinion of biggest stories of the year here in northern Utah, Cache Valley, Utah at large, if you'd like. 753-5868. We'll be back right after this.
The advocates care about your cycling accident and have attorneys who are fellow riders. They understand the risks you face when you ride, and they want to see you get back on your bike and out on the road. If you were hit while enjoying a leisurely ride or training for the next big cycling race, the Advocates Injury Attorneys can help. We are available 24/7, and we don't get paid unless we win your case. Chat anytime at UtahAdvocates.com or call 801-355-5550 today. Cyclists deserve an advocate.
Hello, Cache Valley. This is Tom Hale at Blue Sky Restoration, formerly ARS. Remember, got a mess? Call ARS. We want to let you know that here at Blue Sky, we still have the same great staff, we provide the same excellent service, and are ready to help you in your time of need with water mitigation, mold remediation, or a fire. Thank you for trusting our staff and myself for over 35 years with your disaster needs, and we will continue to be here for you. From Blue Sky Restoration to you and yours, we wish you the safest and happiest holidays.
Hi, this is Ashley with LSS Insurance. Open enrollment for individual health insurance is November 1st through January 15th. Coverage through the marketplace is available with more tax credits. You could save a bunch. If you haven't qualified in the past, try again now. We will help you navigate the marketplace, understand your choices, and complete enrollment. Trying it on your own can be frustrating. Let us help. Call 752-9493. There is no cost to work with us. Having a local agent makes all the difference. Call 752-9493.
This is Justin Hamilton, and all of us at Cafe Sabor wish you and your family a safe and happy holiday. For the entire month of December, with every $25 gift card purchase, you will receive a $5 card for free. Great food. It's the perfect gift for family, friends, or coworkers. Purchase a $25 gift card and get $5 additional for free. Happy holidays from all of us at Cafe Sabor.
It's winter, and the last thing you're thinking about is yard work. But did you know now is actually the best time to trim your trees? Hey, it's Chelsea with Whole Tree Care, and I'm not suggesting you get out there and do it. Call us. Our guys climb trees year-round. And now that leaves are gone, visibility is perfect for trimming. Plus, your trees are dormant, so it's less stressful on your trees. Call 760-6587. If you have any overgrown trees, call before heavy snow causes damage. Whole Tree Care. That's HULL Tree Care. 760-6587.
Thank you. UNI Furniture wants to say thank you to all of their friends and customers. UNI Furniture is grateful to be a family business, now in their 5th generation. For over 90 years, they've always offered a good product at a good price. And that's why they say you'll always find a better buy at UNI. Stop by and see them this holiday season with lots of store-wide specials and great bargains. Purchase any sofa or sectional, and UNI says thank you with $100 off on any chair to go with it. UNI Furniture in downtown Logan.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People, asking listeners to weigh in on what they think the top stories of the year are in northern Utah, Cache Valley, Utah at large. If you want, you're welcome to join us. I'm just kind of rambling on here about my excitement that yesterday was the shortest day of the year, which means that today days have started getting longer, just by a few seconds each day for the next week or two, but that'll speed up and be up to a couple of minutes by mid-January, and just on our way then to that beautiful time of the year in June when you start having 15-hour days and it's light until 10 o'clock, and I love it. Our good friend Bill on the line. Bill, your thoughts? You have a top story of the year?
Yes, my top story of the year is I haven't had to listen to that obnoxious, raunchous caterwauling that usually emanates from the tabernacle at this time of the year.
Caterwauling.
I mean, if they're going to play that stuff 24/7 at a volume I'm sure violates the noise ordinances of Logan, they could at least play Grandma Got Ran Over by a Reindeer every once in a while.
Oh, Bill, I love it. For those who don't know what Bill's talking about, for years they would outdoor speaker music at the Tabernacle, and it was a little loud. You could hear it from Federal Avenue. You could hear it from downtown on Center Street, and it was just cranked. And they are, I mean, on that other side of the Tabernacle, there is a residential area.
So east of there, it's just...
Yeah.
I mean, on Main Street, you have the traffic noise.
Yeah, the traffic drowns it out a little bit. But, if you got over on Center Street, on the other side of Main Street, or if you got east of there where you're at, Bill, it was pretty loud. And I remember wondering, I wonder how the residents feel about this for a month. But now we know. Thanks, Bill.
You're welcome.
Appreciate your call. Always great to hear from you. And if we don't hear from you again, Bill, I hope 2023 has been good to you. I hope 2024 is better. Same to all of our listeners. I hope that, of course. Another listener chiming in here via text. And I feel like I need to clarify this. I don't clarify it enough. When I say text, years ago, I messed up. And our Google Voice text number got deleted. My fault. I just completely spaced it.
So we don't have a Google
So
text
we no
number.
longer have a Google text number for the show, but I do log into KVNU FTP on Google Chat every day, or what's Google calling it now? They keep changing the name. It was it was Hangouts for a while. Then during the pandemic, they decided to make it Google Meet, I think, and then everybody hated that. So Chat, they've gone back to Google Chat or G Chat. I think they're trying to make it cool for the kids. So
somebody sent us a G Chat.
Yeah, but the thing about G Chat, the reason I use it here is that it works with any other online chat service. So if you want to send us a message, it is KVNU FTP is the handle. And I see those during the show here. They pop up right on my screen. So listener chiming in via the G Chat. And this happens to be a listener that I know is at work. So I'm not gonna say a name. Now, they said in there, please don't say this is so-and-so, please don't say my name, I'm at work. And they said they think one of the top stories of the year in general was the Great Salt Lake. And, yeah, I mean, that's fair. And there were, we had Brian Steed here in the studio. We had Nathan Dowgs earlier in the year talking about some of the concern Cache Valley water managers and water district board members have watching the excitement over saving the Great Salt Lake. Not that they're opposed to that. Obviously, no one should be. But that it makes them nervous because some of the conversations have made them feel like the lawmakers in the Wasatch Front and Salt Lake and Utah County areas are willing to trample on places like Cache Valley and Box Elder County in the name of saving the Great Salt Lake, and that could harm our long-term plans here in Cache Valley. So I think in general you can throw all of that into Because not a top story of the year, but I think one of the top things the legislature did regarding water this year in the legislative session earlier this year, they put, I believe it was around $200 million that they put towards a granting program for those in agriculture, for farmers to adopt higher tech irrigation systems, because we know that there's a lot, 80 to 85% of our water use in northern Utah, at least, is going to agriculture. It's not as wasteful as it is to water green grass in parking strips and even on your lawn. If you think about it, that's still only 15% of our water use that we're talking about there being used residentially. So 80 to 85%, depending on which part of the state you look at, is going to agricultural use. And new sprinklers, as trivial as that sounds, it could make a huge difference. These new sprinklers, though, are some of them. I saw a presentation once on a sprinkler that was $10,000. Well, okay, the system was $10,000. And that wasn't even a system that would cover an entire alfalfa field. That was the system to get the water to the pipes, to these new sprinkler heads. You would still have to buy everything else to connect things together. And $10,000. I know few people in farming right now that have $10,000 just kind of sitting around with them wondering, what should we do with this? So to me, that was a big story of the year, and I would lump that in with the Great Salt Lake, because all of this is going to be connected, not just in reality, but also in our legislative debates. Saving the Great Salt Lake is a big focus, but water management and Utah's water future falls into that same category of, right now, kind of everybody in the legislature pulling their hair out going, what are we going to do? I think we'll figure it out, but man, they need to stop kicking the can. We'll see if they decide not to kick that can again in January. The movie show is next here on KVNU Logan.